The scream cuts through the rainforest at 3 a.m. A man's hand is pinned to the bark. 8 legs hold him there like a vice. Fangs the size of bear claws sink deeper. His flesh turns gray within seconds. This isn't a nightmare you wake up from. This is the world of giant spiders that hunt like apex predators. They don't spin webs and wait. They stalk their prey through complete darkness. They calculate distance like snipers. They strike faster than you can blink. Some grow larger than dinner plates. Their venom liquefies your insides while you're still conscious. Tonight we're counting down the 8 most terrifying ambush spiders on Earth. These aren't the spiders in your basement. These are the ones that turned grown men into believers. Number 1. Put someone in a coma for 6 days. Drop ALIKE if you think you'll survive. Number 1. Number 8. Creeps through the Amazon after sunset. The Brazilian wandering spider doesn't build a home. It wanders hunting grounds like a silent assassin. For nutria fera measures 6 inches across with legs extended. A banana plantation worker in 2007 reached into a crate. The spider was already inside waiting in ambush. It bit down on his wrist twice. Within 4 minutes, his heart rate hit 180 beats per minute. The venom contains a neurotoxin called PHTX3. It attacks your nervous system and cardiovascular system simultaneously. His arm swelled to twice its normal size. The pain registered at 7 out of 10 on the Schmidt index. He described it as molten metal being injected into bone. Doctors administered 6 vials of anti-venom that night. He survived but lost feeling in 3 fingers permanently. Number 7. Hides in plain sight across rural Australia. The mouse spider gets its name from its burrowing behavior, but there's nothing small about Missalina bradley. Females reach 2 inches in body length alone. Their fangs penetrate denim jeans like they're tissue paper. A farmer in Queensland bent down to move a rock in 2011. The spider exploded from underneath in a blur. It latched onto his thumb with both fangs. He said it felt like 2 hot nails driven through skin. The venom is similar to the funnel web's deadly cocktail. It contains delta-trachotoxin that attacks human nerve endings. His hand turned purple within 20 minutes. Muscle spasms traveled up his entire arm. Pain scale, 7 out of 10 in climbing. He made it to the hospital before respiratory failure set in. The antivenom saved his life with minutes to spare. But the puncture wounds took 3 months to fully heal. Number 6. Waits in the deserts of the American Southwest. The camel spider isn't technically a true spider. It's a solifuge that hunts like a land shark. Gayloads Arabs reaches 6 inches in leg span. U.S. soldiers in Iraq encountered them during night patrols in 2005. One Marine woke up to searing pain in his calf. The creature had already buried its chelicerae deep into muscle. It wasn't injecting venom, but it was tearing flesh mechanically. The bite creates massive tissue damage through sheer crushing force. Witnesses said they heard the sound of ripping meat. His scream woke up the entire base camp. It took 3 soldiers to pry the jaws open. The wound required 47 stitches and emergency debridement. Pain level, 6 out of 10, but the psychological trauma was worse. He said it moved faster than anything he'd seen in combat. The creature was hunting him like prey, and it almost succeeded in dragging flesh away. Wait till you see what number 5 does to bone. Number 5 stalks the forests of Southeast Asia after dark. The Giant Huntsman spider claims the record for largest leg span. Heteropoda maxima measures 12 inches from tip to tip. A cave explorer in Laos crawled through a tight passage in 2008. The spider dropped from the ceiling onto his neck. It didn't bite immediately, but it positioned itself for the kill. He felt 8 legs wrapping around his throat like fingers. When he tried to grab it, the fangs sank into his palm. The venom isn't deadly, but the pain is absolutely real. His hand locked into a claw position for 6 hours. The toxin attacks calcium channels in muscle tissue. Doctors described it as a sustained full-body cramp. Pain scale, 8 out of 10 with no relief from medication. He passed out twice from the intensity alone. A local guide said the spider was protecting its hunting ground. It had mistaken him for prey in the complete darkness. The bite marks formed perfect circles that scarred permanently. Number 4. Ambushes from beneath the sand in African deserts. The 6-eyed sand spider is a master of patience. Sicarius honey buries itself completely and waits for days. Only its eyes remain visible above the surface. A researcher in Namibia was collecting samples in 2013. She knelt down to examine tracks in the sand. The spider erupted upward in less than half a second. It bit through her field glove and into her index finger. The venom contains a hemolytic compound that destroys blood cells. Her finger turned black within the first hour. Blood began seeping through her skin like she was sweating it. The flesh started necrotizing while she watched in horror. She described the pain as 8 out of 10 and unrelenting. There is no anti-venom for this species anywhere on Earth. Doctors could only amputate the fingertip to stop the spread. She said the spider's ambush was perfectly calculated. It knew exactly when to strike for maximum damage. The wound site still leaks fluid 5 years later. What's coming at number 3 dissolves muscle like acid. Number 3 hunts through the rainforests of Central America. The Colombian Giant Tarantula doesn't just bite and release. Megaphobema robustum holds on and pumps venom repeatedly. A wildlife photographer in Costa Rica was setting up equipment in 2015. The spider rushed him from behind a fallen log. It covered 15 feet in under 3 seconds. When it struck his ankle, it injected venom in multiple pulses. He said it felt like battery acid being squeezed into bone. The venom contains myotoxins that literally dissolve muscle fibers. His calf muscle began breaking down within minutes. The tissue turned to liquid under the skin. Medical staff had to drain 200 milliliters of decomposed tissue. Pains go 9 out of 10 with moments of complete blackout. He bit through his leather belt trying to manage the agony. The spider's ambush strategy involves targeting the largest muscle groups. It immobilizes prey by destroying their ability to move. His leg required reconstructive surgery and 3 skin grafts. The venom caused permanent nerve damage that still causes phantom pain. Number 2. Waits in suburban homes across Sydney, Australia. The Sydney funnel web spider is the deadliest spider on Earth. Atrax robustus possesses venom specifically evolved to kill primates. A 5-year-old boy was playing in his backyard in 2016. The spider was hiding inside his rain boot. When he slipped his foot inside, both fangs penetrated his heel. His father heard the scream from inside the house. The child's leg went rigid within 90 seconds. Delta atraucutus floods the nervous system with neurotransmitters. Every muscle in his body began contracting uncontrollably. Foam poured from his mouth as his lungs started failing. Paramedics arrived as his heart began experiencing arrhythmia. Pain scale, 9 out of 10 before he lost consciousness. They administered anti-venom directly into his bloodstream. His heart stopped twice during transport to the hospital. Doctors said another 3 minutes would have been fatal. The spider had delivered enough venom to kill an adult. It was defending its ambush position inside the boot, but nothing prepares you for what number 1 survived. Number 1 is the apex ambush predator of the spider world. The Goliath Birdeater doesn't just hunt insects or small animals. Theraphosa blondii actively hunts vertebrate prey, including birds and mammals. This is the largest spider on Earth by mass. It weighs over 6 ounces and spans nearly 12 inches. A biologist in French Guiana was conducting research in 2017. He was alone in the rainforest 30 miles from civilization. The spider had been tracking him for over 20 minutes. He heard a hissing sound like air escaping from a tire. That's the sound of the Goliath rubbing its legs together. It's a warning that most prey never gets to hear. When he turned around, the spider was already airborne. It launched itself at his face from 6 feet away. The fangs are 1 inch long and curved like scimitars. They punched through his cheek and into his jaw. The pain was instant and registered at 10 out of 10. He described it as being stabbed with electrified railroad spikes. The venom isn't the most toxic, but the volume is massive. This spider injects more venom than any other species alive. His entire face swelled until his eyes were forced shut. The toxin caused his blood pressure to spike to stroke levels. He stumbled through the jungle completely blind for 3 hours. When he finally collapsed, a research team found him unconscious. His jaw had locked completely from muscle spasms. They had to airlift him to a hospital in Cayenne. Doctors said the fang wounds had fractured his jawbone. The venom caused tissue necrosis that required surgical removal. He spent 6 days in a medically induced coma. When he woke up, he couldn't speak for 2 weeks. The psychological trauma was worse than the physical damage. He said the spider hunted him like a tiger hunts deer. It calculated his position and waited for the perfect moment. Here's why number 1 is still a threat today. The Goliath Birdeater is expanding its range due to climate change. Warmer temperatures are pushing them into new territories. They're being found in areas where they never existed before. Pet trade trafficking has introduced them to 6 continents now. Escaped specimens have established breeding populations in Florida. A family in Tampa found one in their garage in 2023. These spiders live for up to 25 years in the wild. They're patient ambush hunters that can wait motionless for hours. They hunt by sensing vibrations in the ground like seismic detectors. You won't see them coming until it's already too late. Their fangs can penetrate leather boots and thick gloves easily, and they defend their territory with terrifying aggression. The biologist who survived still has nightmares about the hissing sound. He said he'll never forget the feeling of being hunted. This wasn't a defensive bite from a scared spider. This was a calculated ambush from an apex predator. The Goliath Birdeater proved that night what we always suspected. Some spiders don't just survive in nature. They dominate it like tigers dominate the jungle. And when they decide you're prey, there's nowhere to hide. Number 1 made grown men cry. Click the video on screen before it gets removed.